What's up, wrestling fans? Welcome to another edition of Wrestling After Show, emanating from the palatial Reality After Show studios right here in the heart of the Mid-Atlantic territory. I'm Heath Haynes.
And I'm Jonny Fairplay.
And we're here to talk about wrestling, mostly the stuff we like, some of the stuff we don't like, and all the odds and sods in between. We've got Saturday night's main event coming up this weekend, Fairplay. So we're going to be breaking that whole showdown match for match. And in the context of that breakdown, we're also going to be talking about some of the current events happening in the WWE, as well as some other odds and ends from around the world of professional wrestling. And as always, we're going to be talking about some classic wrestling content today on Wrestling After Show. So let's dive right in. What do you say?
Sure. You know what? You notice behind us, we have a bivvy of old figures. We got the Mean Gene LJN. We got
we certainly do.
Devon Dudley. It's just a hodgepodge.
Okay.
Well, the other day I was on eBay listing records like I usually do. 700 records up right now. Go to JonnyFairplay.com for the link. Okay. I saw an LJN figure. I was just like, I never had that figure as a kid. I always wanted it. And you know me, I'm a bad guy, and I like the bad guys. But this guy was a good guy at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I actually kind of made the switch during this time.
Rick Martel.
No one wants a Rick Martel figure.
Okay.
Captain Lou Albano.
Sure, yeah.
It's a cool figure. He's got the shirt. He's got the
rubber bands.
The rubber bands. Yeah, but like, he was the bad guy manager, like when Cyndi Lauper was first introduced into the whole rock and wrestling thing, and turned during that.
Yeah. Well, he was famously the manager for the Wild Samoans.
Yes.
And I think pretty much like I'm not the expert on pre Vince Jr. WWE, but I think most of the managers in the territory were heels, because you had the Grand Wizard was the other prominent one, classy Fletty Blassie, of course.
It's easy for you to say.
And not so much. And and Captain Lou.
Lou managed Freddie Blassie at the end of his career.
Oh wow. But yeah, you're right. So Captain Lou did turn like sort of babyface in that with that Cyndi Lauper involvement.
It began with Captain Lou played Cyndi Lauper's dad in the Girls Just Want to Have Fun video.
Precisely.
And then we worked our way into the Goonies Good Enough video, in which Cyndi Lauper is chased by Roddy Piper.
Yep.
So and then we worked our way to the Brawl Still at All, the Word Still the Score, and all that. The awards saying Dave Wolf getting beat. The whole reason this all happened
was Dave Wolf.
Dave Wolf was a wrestling fan, brought in the Freebirds.
Yeah, that didn't work out.
And that didn't work. And the funny thing was, I went to a deal, I want to say the Mad Monster Party in Charlotte, North Carolina. They had Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper for an appearance one year. And they did a little Q&A thing. And it was funny because Piper and Hogan both admitted this. They used to hang out at the Studio 54 in New York and all that. And Cyndi Lauper loved Roddy Piper. Was one of her favorite people on the planet. Mm-hmm. Hated Hulk Hogan's guts.
Of course.
Could not, like, he was
a smart lady.
He was literally the epitome of what she hated, like, the steroids, like one-dimensional, where Roddy, she was like, this is my guy.
Yeah. Just goes to show you, people in the know have been in the know about Hogan for a long, long time, ladies and gentlemen, including a childhood me, when we get to our classic content for today, of course, WWE Vault released a live, they did a live stream of Saturday night's main event episode from 1990. We're going to be breaking that one down, specifically the one match that we both watched from that show. But let's go from the present, from the past to the present, talk about this week's Saturday night's main event. One match added last night to the card, which with a super hot angle.
Yeah.
A super hot angle is going to be Rhea Ripley defending in the first televised defense of her Women's World Heavyweight Championship against Nia Jax. who we also saw in action against Bailey later on in the show, or the angle came after that match.
Sure,
but I think this is going to be good. While they were doing the angle, well, first off, Bailey's wrestling Nia Jax. Bailey, latest addition to the Raw roster from this so-called trade portal,
alleged
transfer portal, which they have not taken any steps to clearly define when it started, when it's over.
Well, they did.
What it is.
Unless it was a fever dream. I do remember at one time there was a date, and that date has been never mentioned again.
It was, I think our understanding, and I think we probably said it was like it was going to be building up to Raw Netflix.
Yeah.
And I think we both sort of had the understanding that at that point it would be over. Well, obviously it's not. And Nia Jax is still on SmackDown, but she was wrestling on Raw because she is just consulting, putting the toe in the water, if you will, to see if she wants to.
It's a big toe.
It is a big toe. But Bailey now on Raw, which is fine. She needs something.
Yes.
But
does she need to be anywhere where Damage Control is?
Well, I think for Bailey, she needs to be a heel, and if they're going to be baby faces, she needs to be a heel. So maybe that's where maybe they get a Bailey heel turn. I'll tell you what, though, her in-ring and just her presentation has improved over recent weeks. I've noticed that she's either been in the gym or got the nutrition dialed in. She looks like she's lost about 15, 20 pounds. And I think it's added to her quickness. I think for a long time she was looking kind of sluggish for a while. And there's a little more crispness to her presentation. And she sold a lot last night, which was great. And yeah, she kind of took a classic ass beating in that match.
Yeah, and her last match she had, or last two big matches she had with Nia Jax, on the main stage, have been great. Those are two of my favorite women's matches of 2024. Yeah. But speaking of her fitness and just everyone's fitness in WWE, I noticed this last night more so than I have in a long time. The high definition of Netflix versus cable is night and day.
It sure is.
I mean, it is beautiful. You can see every white hair in CM Punk's beard. It's the next level.
Yeah.
And it's a cosmetic business.
Yeah.
Said it for years. And, that's why, last couple times I saw MJF before this last time, I'm just like, dude, I understand you're making a movie, but you're a wrestler. Look like the hair was bad, the dye, the tan was bad, the back was broken. All these things are noticeable things in the cosmetic business,
and it matters.
Seth Rollins, second half of 2024, little pudgy, not fat, but not. Last night, Drew McIntyre outfitting and costuming, physique, everything perfect, best it's ever been. Seth Rollins, body, perfect. See, everyone, Bailey.
What Seth Rollins has done is, and for those of you who are kind of into fitness, you'll understand what I'm talking about. He did a bulk, and now he's on the tail end of a cut. So when you're doing a bulk, you just sort of eat a lot of calories, eat a lot of protein, lift a lot of weights, and you get big. And you kind of don't worry about body fat so much. You just want to put on size. And so I think that's what we saw in sort of the tail end. The last few times we had seen Seth Rollins in ring, it's ooh, he's looking a little doughy.
Yeah.
Well, now he's on the cut end of that, where you dial the nutrition in and you start getting rid of that body fat while maintaining the muscle that you've put on in the bulk phase. So I think that's what's going on with Seth Rollins. He did his bulk. Now he's gone through his cut, and it has paid off because you put him and Drew McIntyre side to side, like you did in that ring last night. They're kind of the same size now.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Who knew?
It's wild.
Because Drew McIntyre is a massive human being.
Yeah, and obviously WWE is going to have the top of the line in nutrition science.
Yeah.
And
if you want it.
Yeah. And they're going to be able to get all those macros dialed in and get you and get the results you want. And yeah, that has happened. But going back to
Bailey,
our Bailey and Nia Jax match, Bailey takes a classic ass whooping.
Little interference from outside. Roxanne Perez.
Oh yeah, we had the Roxanne Perez. Not so distraction.
No,
not so much as interference.
Just there, but this is
it was a distraction, and
she's coming to Raw.
And the process of her getting ejected by security. I don't know. Did you see that one lady that was on the end of the row sitting next to her?
Yeah.
She ended up on her ass. So
nice.
So hopefully they bought her an ice cream bar and a T-shirt for her trouble. But
you get to meet the Big Show.
That was pretty hilarious. Of course, Rhea Ripley was the victim of attack from Nia Jax before the show even started. So after the match, Rhea Ripley comes out for her measure of revenge, and they have kind of a wild pull apart. And I was yelling at I had a yell at the TV moment, because it's like, these girls are both big girls,
sure,
and super strong. And I did not like the way Rhea's punches were landing. They kind of look terrible. And I was yelling at the TV. I was like, lay it in. She can take it. Both of them can take it. So hopefully between what we saw last night and Saturday, they get a little stiff. Not that I want to see everybody, work stiff like Shinsuke Nakamura all the time, but like, those punches look terrible.
I'm on the other end of the spectrum. Like in the world of too many pull aparts in WWE, I thought this was the best pull apart in a month.
I thought it was a good pull apart. I thought the punches looked shitty.
Okay, well, I'll give a pass just because the other pull aparts have been so crappy that this pull apart was so much better that I'm going to give a pass on the punches.
One element of the new production, Raw on Netflix, that we have not spoken about is after 20 years of the same announce table through all the eras of WWE, they finally got a new announce table, a new ringside announce table, which looks to me to be indestructible.
Well, unfortunately, I feel people are going to test the theory.
It's pretty solid, but that's
Randy Orton seems like a guy that's willing to test that theory with someone else's body.
Nia Jax pulled the the little shroud off of it, and I was like, I'm sorry, lady, that thing ain't going anywhere. And then
neither is she.
And then Rhea used it to leap off of to great effect. But I do think that's interesting. After years of the precedent being like, we're going to break the announce table, finally the announce team has been like, you know what? I think it's about time we had an upgrade.
Yeah,
and they've got one.
They consulted a carpenter.
That thing doesn't even look. It looks like it's made of like steel or something. It's wild.
I mean, it became so passe, just so ridiculously overused.
Well, that's the thing.
That's so. If they do decide to gimmick it one night, in next year or in 9 months or whatever, then it's like, holy shit.
Don't break the announce table for a year.
Yeah.
I think that's I think that's awesome. And having the new table gets them there. But as far as what these two are going to do in the ring on Saturday night's main event, I don't think it's going to be the start of a program. I think it's kind of going to be a one-off.
And that was the history of Saturday night's main event for the longest.
Yeah.
You got that one big match that it used to be like, what they would close out. They would do the house show loop and then close that out on the Saturday night's main event sometimes.
Yeah. So I see it being, and they'll probably have a competent match. Nia has been looking better lately, I think.
Well, anything was an upgrade over Survivor Series.
Oh, I think everybody after Survivor Series got a talking to.
They got a stern talking to. What for?
I think they got a talking to, and everybody tightened up their work a little bit.
How happy are you that Rhea Ripley is not having the obligatory rematch? I mean, that feud just lasted so long with Liv Morgan,
right?
That it, we finally got, the changing of the guard, a couple injuries, is what dragged it out for so long. And it's just like, is everybody good? We don't need the
they don't. I mean, and they made that very clear in the lead up. That's like, this is it. And I think in this case, this is a good a good instance of the fact that and I didn't even realize this until you told me that they got rid of the whole automatic champions rematch stip. So the fact that that's not a thing anymore, I think is good in this case, because we do not need to see Liv and Rhea again anytime in the near future. Also on this card, another Raw World Heavyweight Championship match. Gunther defending against Jey Uso.
Main event.
And will this be in the main event?
I think it's going to be the first match out of the gate.
So, well,
you know what? Not necessarily, because the whole thing with Saturday's main event back in the day was it came on at 11:30 p.m. on Saturday night, and the main event was the first match because people were falling asleep.
This is on at 8, though.
This is on at 8, so maybe it's not the start time main event. Maybe it's the last match main event.
I think it'll be the actual main event.
Yeah.
The World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther and Jey Uso. They started off the show last night on Raw with a little promo that. Honestly, Gunther, not his best performance on the mic. He stumbled over a lot of stuff. So that's not great.
He's a good less is more kind of guy.
Well, they gave him a lot to do, and he didn't do a lot with it. And so this is going to be a match. I'm not looking forward to it. I don't look forward to any time Jey Uso is in ring.
Well, he's due for something great.
I think his, everybody loves his gimmick. The entrance is great. By the time he gets to the ring, he's already gassed.
And then the bell rings.
And then it's a bunch of sloppy punches, a bunch of sloppy kicks, a very weak looking spear, a couple leaps off the top rope, and but hopefully Gunther goes out on top.
I can't imagine a title change. Real quick, semi-related. Do you like the new Slim Jim commercial with LA Knight, Jey Uso, and Macho Man?
I haven't seen that one. The last one.
Oh, you don't get the commercials. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Must be nice.
Week 3.
Yeah.
Week 3, commercial free.
Yeah.
That's right. Still for me.
Yeah. Jason Powell, I was listening to his review this morning, and he was just like, he goes, I might have missed some of the stuff during the. He goes, I have the commercial free Netflix, so but if the other people aren't seeing it, I'm probably not going to report it. I'm like, I too have the commercial free, but I get commercials.
Yeah, I still don't get commercials. So last night I was treated to Pete Dunne in-ring promo.
Oh, how was that?
Well, they cut it off in the middle.
This is not that good.
I was treated to going back to what we were talking about last week about Penta running overtime, and we were like, how can you run overtime on a show that doesn't have an out time? Apparently, they still are timing out the shows internally as to, this is what we want to do, and this is how we want it to proceed. So they still have time cues to hit, so it is possible for segments to run long. And I think that's what happened with this Pete Dunne in-ring promo. They just cut and came out of commercial back to the feed. But we also saw an interesting Karrion Kross in the crowd in the old Mean Gene position promo, where he addressed CM Punk, he addressed Sami Zayn, and I think he's continuing with this devil on the shoulder character, which I think is kind of the best use for him. It doesn't sound like they are going to follow the Wyatt Six to SmackDown.
Thank God.
So you did not see that particular segment, but later on, when Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins, and this was on air on the show that everybody saw, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins are having their little encounter backstage. Karrion Kross is in the background, lurking in the shadows. One of those Easter eggs. So I think, getting to what we're going to talk about when we talk about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, the Karrion Kross devil on the shoulder character might seriously come into play with that situation.
Do you think this Karrion Kross character is like the Sean O'Hare character that we never really saw develop? We saw do you remember we had?
No, I wasn't watching that.
Okay. There's some vignettes you might want to check out. So the vignettes were great,
right?
And then the bell rang, and then they brought in Roddy Piper to be his mentor. which it was just like, okay. And then, and this is like the worst Roddy Piper.
When was this?
God, I went as his guest to when WrestleMania was in Seattle. Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar, when Brock did the
almost killed everybody, himself included. Yeah.
But that night, that weekend in the hotel, we're hanging out in Sean O'Hare's hotel room. He was like, check out my new ring gear, brother. And he was just like, spider webs. Look at this. Look, check Spider-Man. What? I love Spider-Man. I'm going to try to work in Spider-Man into my gimmick.
I think Marvel might have something to say about
and
that.
I'm just like, he was like, what do you think? I'm like, I think it's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck about Spider-Man and some the devil on your shoulder gimmick. Like, the two don't go together.
Yeah.
Like, like I guess Venom. Okay. But you're not talking Venom. You're talking Spider-Man.
Cool.
Oh, so I'm as I said, go. You got some homework. You got a week to check this out. Check out just the Sean O'Hare vignettes.
Give me a year.
Whenever
I don't know what year is that?
Just ask when WrestleMania from Seattle was, and it's that year.
Okay, I'll do that.
Easy.
So anyway, yeah, I still have.
But I think it ends. I think every vignette ended with, and I'm not saying anything you don't already know or something like that.
Still commercial-free presentation is working out for me. I love the extra stuff.
So Gunther Jay, we're both going Gunther. No.
Yeah.
No title change.
Not even a good match. I think. I think it's a waste of Gunther, and I think it's a continuation of just him not looking great. And I want to get that belt off of him. I think, or do something better with that belt on him, because it's not working for me.
I think it's a high profile win for him, and I'll allow it.
Sheamus and his quest to gain the Intercontinental title for the first time will face Braun Breaker in another match that I guess has kind of been built up just through backstage segments and interviews and stuff. I was talking to my buddy Greg yesterday. When was the last time we saw Braun Breaker wrestle? It feels like it's been a while.
I think they're purposely I think they want to make him special when he does wrestle.
Okay.
So I think too much of a good there's some Goldberg elements to him and even some Ultimate Warrior in him.
Mm-hmm.
And less is definitely more.
Less is more. I tend to say I would like to see him in ring a little bit more often, just because I think that's at this point that's the most impressive part of his presentation.
Sure.
And when I don't see it very often, I kind of forget about it, and I'm like, okay, but and it's sort of in this situation definitely dulls my anticipation for this match. And this is where I miss just the good old-fashioned, enhancement match or squash match or job match, whatever you want. I'd like to see Braun Breaker do the entrance, come out, kill somebody in 30 seconds, and leave.
Yeah, and I think that's.
But they don't really do that anymore.
I didn't enjoy watching him kill Ricochet 8 weeks in a row.
Right.
That wasn't fun for me. It was fun the first one, and I guess the last one,
right?
Because I guess he really killed him.
He really killed him.
Yeah, but I didn't enjoy. We know what's going to happen. So I did because I feel like when they initially brought him up, they were bringing us some guys from NXT, but not basically guys from the training facility. Performance Center, but not necessarily your NXT TV star. They weren't jobbing out their NXT.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, but you bring the guy. The guys are at the Performance Center that could take a 2-minute ass whooping.
Dante Chen, I think, is one of those guys who's like is Level Up still a thing?
I think they just
are they not doing Level Up anymore?
UFC just canned that, but they have something else coming.
So So no, you don't want to put anybody you're trying to push on NXT TV on screen to get to job to Braun Breaker or anybody on the main roster, but somebody who's maybe on that Level Up level, which is the what you're saying, more the performance level, the performance center level.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, stuff like that, because Braun Breaker promos aren't great, and him just calling Sheamus an old man week after week.
Yeah.
I understand that they don't necessarily want him doing super heelish things because they want him sort of riding this line of babyface and heel. Braun Breaker's got merch, I'm sure, but so they're not going to have
stand out.
They're not going to have him doing sneak attacks and stuff like that, super heelish stuff. And so this match kind of doesn't feel that important to me either. I think
they're going to bring it.
I think they're going to beat the shit out of each other. And
I'm for that.
And I think it'll be fun for the live crowd. I don't think Sheamus will get the IC title.
No.
I think if he does get it, I think that's a WrestleMania moment. So if anything, they're going to end up kicking this can down the road. But maybe an interesting angle at the end to sort of give them a reason to have another match.
Goldberg threw out the name Gunther for his last match at WrestleMania. I wouldn't mind a pivot and Braun Breaker versus Goldberg and Braun Breaker.
I got a bone to pick with you. I spent a good deal of my time trying to forget the fact that Goldberg has been mentioned over and over again,
College Game Day,
as being a part of WrestleMania this year. And then every week you fucking bring it up. I was a Goldberg guy.
I never was.
I loved him. He was a big reason. I hadn't watched wrestling in forever. And like 96, 97, I remember, I think I've even told the story on this podcast. I was here in Danville, home visiting. I didn't have cable in Richmond because I was living that life. And I'm at home. My parents have cable. I'm like, oh, okay, let me see what's going on wrestling. And I see Goldberg. I'm like, holy shit, this guy fucking rules. And I started paying attention to wrestling again for the first time in like almost 8 years at that point. And so having said that, I'm not interested in 2025 Goldberg. He doesn't need a farewell match because his best matches were exactly what I was talking about with Braun Breaker. It's like fucking come in, 30 seconds, do 2 moves, and then it's over. I don't
have 2 moves, Braun Breaker giving them to Goldberg.
Well, you can see that. I mean, does Goldberg coming back and jobbing to Braun Breaker, how's that help anything? It's like,
I'm good with it.
That's my deal. It's like,
I'm good with a spear from Goldberg, a kick out by Braun Breaker, and then run around the ring, boom, boom, boom.
WrestleMania real estate is precious as it is, even with the 2 nights. Having Goldberg involved. Now, also having said that, if you want to go back to like modern day Goldberg presentation, this would have been 2016 or 2017 when he basically squashed Lesnar.
Yeah.
You remember that? That worked. That was fucking awesome.
That worked.
That was really cool. But that was Lesnar. Admit more. Yeah, if Braun Breaker squashes Goldberg
just like that.
But still, it's even with the roles reversed.
I like it.
I don't. So
anyway, I have a question. I'm shocked that you liked Goldberg. So when
I didn't say like I maintained a massive appreciation for Gold. I definitely, when he beat Hogan in the Georgia Dome, I thought that was a huge moment. But like once
I hated it.
Once the streak was over, then it's like, okay, well, you guys don't really know what to do with this guy.
Yeah.
But that was also the time where I was just finding out about, I guess smartening up to the business. And
that doesn't work.
Yeah, well, it was like for years, it's like I know this isn't a competition.
Yeah, it's not on the up and up.
It's like when you go see a magic show. It's like I know they're not really sawing that girl in half, but I don't know how they're doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're doing it.
Yeah.
So, and at that time, I think was the dawn of my getting smartening up to the business. But definitely the bloom fell off the rose of Goldberg pretty soon after that. But the lead up to like him. What did he beat Raven for the
Yeah.
U.S.
Oh
title?
God, I hated that.
And then they had him beat Hogan for he beat Hogan, and then he had both belts. I was like, this guy fucking rules. I was down.
I couldn't get past. So it was WCW's Stone Cold, right? Bald head, goatee.
I didn't know who Stone Cold was at that point.
Okay,
either.
well I did.
Yeah.
Okay, and so black boots, black trunks, bald head, goatee. Okay, that's not what made Stone Cold Stone Cold. Stone Cold, like it wasn't the look, and they're just like, it's WCW going, here's our Stone Cold. I'm like, no, it's not. Okay,
See,
so there was that.
Yeah.
B, these idiots, and they were literally piping this in. They had the fans chanting, Goldberg, Goldberg. That's what. Yeah, the cadence is if you're booing someone.
If you're making fun of that guy.
These fucking morons were piping in Goldberg chants with that cadence.
Worked for me. I got to tell you.
Oh my God!
I never saw. But because the characters were so different, the character of Stone Cold and the character of Goldberg, like I said, the characters are different beyond the physical resemblance that they have with each other. I never saw it. I never connected those two, the bald head goatee, because they were so different. I was, because one man is this unstoppable force of destruction, and the other guy is this, wily, Texas rattlesnake. But also
Yosemite Sam.
But also going back to that era, and this is going to play into what we're going to talk about a little bit later with the classic WWF content we're going to talk about coming up. In my mind, everything related to the WWF was giant, fucking fake, cartoony. In my house, we called it the fake wrestling.
Yeah.
NWA was real wrestling.
Yeah,
WWF was fake wrestling. And when I started to reemerge as a wrestling fan around 96, 97, I naturally just went to WCW, which was what NWA and Jim Crockett Promotions became.
Sure.
And I was like, why do I want to watch fucking WWF? And finally somebody was like, oh, so you haven't seen Stone Cold Steve Austin.
There's one guy changed it all.
There's one, and for me, definitely. And then when I saw Stone Cold, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to watch both. And then there was...
And the fact that I'm sure you love Stunning Steve Austin.
Well, I remember Stunning Steve Austin as
didn't love him?
As not being all that,
Oh, wow.
And so it's
I always thought he was great and just underused.
Well, that's... I was popping in and out.
Sure.
All through then. So... And basically after, well, I remember I didn't have cable, but my buddy did, bass player of my band at that point. Shout out Dave Perkins. He had cable, and I was like, hey, if I give you money, will you let me come over to your house and watch this pay-per-view? And so I gave him money to get Starrcade 97 on pay-per-view. And I went over and watched it, and it was like, what the fuck is this? Especially the finish to the Hogan Sting match.
Sure.
And then I was
did you take your money back?
You want to talk about bloom off the rose? And I was just kind of like, that was a little, something about that didn't land exactly right. And over the course of the next year, it was like, as WCW was on the decline, WWF was on the ascent. And, and really the Attitude Era took hold. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I kind of like WWF more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway.
They built, but here's the crazy thing. They built a lot of that with NWA and WCW throwaways. And WCW's foundation became those WWF throwaways.
Yeah. The old guys.
Yeah. So there was kind of the problem.
It was it was an interesting time for professional wrestling. And I've always defined the Attitude Era as the one time where Vince McMahon allowed his wrestling product to actually resemble professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people, especially from the South, loved about professional wrestling. And dropped sort of the cartoony presentation. It sounds like this is all shit that we're going to talk about in a little while. So anyway, Sheamus Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
I think that's where we launched off from.
Braun retains.
Yeah, Braun retains. And
Good stiff match.
Yeah, it's going to be a good stiff match. There we go. And the other, speaking of good and stiff, Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman. Now this match, I want to.
I don't know about good. Stiff, yes.
I want to give a little of the setup. Oh yeah, that's right. Your boy Braun Strowman.
Not a fan.
So
he's a moron.
Friday Night SmackDown. Jacob Fatu comes out with the loquacious as always Tama Tonga, and they bring out Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa comes out, grabs the mic. He gets the mic like he's going to do something. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't cut a promo. He doesn't say
too much
anything.
heat.
He takes his jacket off. He puts it over his shoulder, and he walks out. At this point, Jacob Fatu, who has exhibited a unique style of promo, and I say it's very exhilarating. He gets the mic. I'm like, okay, here we go. And he cuts a promo, which is awesome, but ultimately for me, a little confusing because he doesn't really reference anything that's like what we've just seen. He doesn't reference like Solo Sikoa losing the Ulafala. What are we going to do? Who are we aligned with? He just starts talking about himself, and he's like, you haven't seen anything yet. Y'all are all jealous of me. And it's like, okay, I like the presentation, but like the material, like what does this mean? And then what even ended up happening? Because I know it ends up with Braun Strowman coming out there, but I was so confused after that promo. I don't even really remember what happened after that. So first off,
was it LA Knight, and then
LA Knight comes out and kind of wrecks shop on both. You're right, wrecks shop on both of them because he's got an issue with Jacob Fatu after last week.
It looked like it was going to be a tag match, and I'm like, ugh. And then it was like, no, it's going to be. And I'm like, yeah, I want to see Jacob Fatu beat the shit out of Braun Strowman.
Of course you do. So what are the implications here? Because
major implications.
I was saying, with Tribal Combat on Netflix Raw, like, is that the end of the Bloodline story? And it kind of seems like it is, because with Jacob Fatu asserting his independence verbally, Solo Sikoa just not even acknowledging the situation, and Roman Reigns declaring for the Royal Rumble and that his objective is Cody Rhodes. It kind of seems like the Bloodline stuff is over. So what did you think of the promo? Do you think the Bloodline stuff is over? And then what do you think of this match that's going to happen on Saturday night?
Promo fine. Once again, less is more with Jacob Fatu. I like him a little more mysterious, and if he is saying something, like, make it mean something really extra, and it didn't. More solo, more individual stuff with Jacob Fatu moving forward. I'm for. So more solo stuff, pun intended. And I love the idea. Like, I hated the idea of Braun Strowman beating up A-Town Down Under. That, like, one guy destroying a tag team makes every tag team look bad.
Burial.
Yes. Cannot stand it. So the fact he's picking on someone his own size.
Yeah.
And the picking on someone his own size who's going to beat his ass, I like even more.
And going back to our topic of physical presentation, so Fatu has been wearing this like sort of like leather riot vest, almost like a Shield kind of vest, but it's bigger, but so it's kind of hard to get a look. But I think, remember the observation when he came into WWE last year, whenever it was like, oh wow, he's really slimmed down.
He's gained back.
I think he's putting it back on.
Well,
now.
I mean,
and that's fine because it was he works as a bigger guy, and I think it's fine. But I think he is packing on some of that.
It's difficult with them checks coming in, brother. I mean, he's been eating. He ain't eating ramen no more.
He's been eating. He has been eating. So anyway,
I got a filet ramen in there.
Is that right?
Hello Fresh, what's up?
What's up, Hello Fresh? So I remember I forgot. I just asked you like a few things, but anyway. Yeah, I think the blood. Do you think the bloodline stuff is over? Yeah. I kind of do too.
And
Because there's no blood. It's like what I said last week. There's no bloodline to bloodline. There's no tribe to tribe. There's no tribe. There's no table to be at the head of. It's like,
So I'm okay with that. They definitely got as much out of it as they possibly could.
Yeah.
And for it to go out and just be done, I feel like is better than just, just a little, just be done.
If The Rock and Roman is not happening, then yeah, let it be done. If The Rock and Roman is happening, then let that be the end,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Saturday night's main event. Oh, of course, but we already signed the contract.
But there's another stipulation.
But now we have to sign the addendum to the contract. Yeah. So
what's the stipulation?
That's going to happen. So what I think the addendum will be, and I said this on this program a few weeks ago with the introduction of the Winged Eagle, and then Kevin Owens making off with the Winged Eagle, the announcement of the ladder match with both belts suspended above the ring. I was thinking that this is going to be the instrument they use to switch over to the Winged Eagle and making that the official title. So I think the addendum is going to have something to do with that. Whoever climbs that ladder, whichever belt that they retrieve, that becomes the championship.
I'm okay with that.
Moving forward. That's sort of
people love it.
People do love it. I think
merch.
Well, there's merch. I think it makes that championship special, and that it's not the one that you give out to the NBA champions. It's not the one you give out to, it's not the one that, you give Snoop Dogg for his, WrestleMania appearance. It's like, no, this is the one that's for
wrestling,
the athletes, if you will. And so I think the addendum's going to have something to do with that.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I just love that belt. I always have.
Yeah.
So I mean, Royal Rumble's coming. My favorite Royal Rumble moment of all time is Ric Flair with the tear in my eye and that belt.
Yeah. And Cody, a long time ago said he wanted to get it back. So this is how
he's the same guy that brought back the IC belt back in the day.
That's true. So
he loves the history.
I think that's what the addendum will be. You got Shawn Michaels there for the hometown crowd. They're going to be in San Antonio. So that's Kevin Owens has been kind of my favorite thing lately.
He's morphing into 2025 Drew McIntyre.
Well, I don't follow him
because everything he says, he's telling the truth.
That's the thing. Everybody's telling all the heels are telling the truth, which is great,
refreshing.
But Kevin Owens, and why don't we just use this as a launching pad to move into his appearance on Monday Night Raw last night.
Friday night did wear the Rey Mysterio Hall of Fame T-shirt.
The
T-shirts are the best.
His T-shirt game has been on point
for a while now.
Last night he was wearing the Canadian Dream, son of a security systems analyst, which I'm wearing the American Dream version of that T-shirt right here. T-shirt game on point. He comes out and also rocking the Bret Hart windbreaker jacket. He's looking good, but Sami Zayn comes to the ring and he's cutting his promo and he's like, all right, Seth Rollins is right. I need to do something for me. So I'm declaring for the Royal Rumble and I'm going to win that thing. Kevin Owens, and these two have not appeared together for quite some time.
Purposely.
So you got to keep them apart. Now it's now you got to bring them together. Kevin Owens comes out and long story short, basically said, and the beautiful Kevin Owens way that he delivered it, and I don't want to butcher it, but he pretty much says, look, you helped me beat Cody. Yeah. I helped you win the Royal Rumble, and then we main event WrestleMania together for this belt. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, it's easy. You're like, why wouldn't we? This has been our dream.
That's the dream. That's the dream. And it's so intriguing. My shout out to Greg. I was talking to him yesterday. And we were sort of brainstorming WrestleMania situations, scenarios, and I just kind of landed on, oh, yeah, Kevin Owens beats Cody for the belt at the Rumble. And then my initial thought was like Cena wins the Rumble and then you get KO Cena. And then I was like, oh, but what if Sammy wins the Rumble? And it just popped in. And then the fact that like I just thought of it, and then that's what they were like basically portraying on TV last night. Now, will that happen? I think there's a chance. I think there's like a 30% chance that ends up being happening. But I do think it's a chance, and it's an illustration of how great the Rumble is. You can get so many stories, and there's so many things in there that you can look for, and you can pick apart, look for clues and everything. But I think after the Rumble, that's going to be when this card really starts to take shape, and there's going to be stories that happen in the Rumble, in the match itself, that are going to lead to stuff at WrestleMania. But I thought this segment was dynamite. I think KO has been knocking it out of the park. If he beats, I think he is going to beat Cody.
Cody doesn't need the belt at Mania, does he?
I don't think it will. I go back to KO beats him for the belt. Cody moves over to Raw. Cody Gunther at Mania. Your problem with that, and I kind of agree with you, the way they're presenting Gunther right now, it's kind of so they would have to like really pump Gunther up, get him to like killer status.
Yeah.
And which they could start that this week if he comes out and just beats the living shit out of fucking Jey Uso. And it's like, okay, here we go. Now you might want to be a little more invested in a Cody Gunther thing. But like, I mean, if you're going to do Cody Rock, then Cody needs the belt. If that's not what you're doing,
they can't fight for the Muhammad Ali belt.
I'm sorry. If you're doing Cody Roman, I misspoke.
Yeah.
If you're doing Cody Roman,
we don't need Cody Roman 3 years.
Then Cody needs the belt. If you're not doing Cody Roman, then Cody doesn't need the belt.
Yeah.
To answer your question.
So I could see if they are putting the strap on Kevin Owens, which I don't think they are, but if they do, I could see Sammy helping Kevin, and then when it comes time for the Rumble, Kevin not helping Sami Zayn. But then that's a Kevin Owens move.
Yeah, but then you sort of wasted a Sami Zayn heel turn. But that's the other thing. If Sami Zayn has to turn heel,
well, no, he just did it because and he has plausible night. He's just like, dude, it's my best friend. And then when Kevin fucks him and doesn't help him,
but if Sami Zayn has to turn heel to get into the main event of WrestleMania, then you have a heel.
No, Sammy doesn't turn. So Sammy's waiting for Kevin. Kevin doesn't show up, and he was just like, "Oh my God, I'm an idiot. Why was it?" And the fans forgive him.
So in your scenario, who helps who first?
So the Royal Rumble was the last match.
Okay.
So Sammy helps Kevin.
That's the heel turn.
Okay. Yes. Sammy's waiting for Kevin to help him. He does it, and he's like, "What was I doing? I was a moron." We forgive Sammy. He was the only reason he was doing it was, because
I don't think Cody Rhodes forgives Sammy.
Sorry, Cody.
I think Cody Rhodes still gets guy. I think I'd like a word, please.
Yeah. Well, you give him the my bad. Oopsies.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the oopsies.
Big fan of oopsies.
Yeah.
Heard that. Yeah. So it was the best segment of the night, and rapidly. And I watch a lot of wrestling with my dad, who is still he's getting in, but he's still like what you call a casual fan.
Sure.
And when we were watching the Tribal Combat, and Kevin Owens appeared out of nowhere, and I jumped up. I was like, "Yeah," And my dad is like, "But Kevin Owens is he like your favorite guy? Because you jumped out of your seat when he came out." And I was like, Kevin Owens means something awesome is probably going to happen. It's an element of unpredictability.
Sure.
And it's like last night, Sami Zayn is coming out to basically cut the promo that so many people have been cutting lately. I'm entering the Royal Rumble promo.
Well, unless you're a woman, in
you know,
WWE.
and then it's like, okay, but then right in the middle of that, here comes Kevin Owens, and he just like spiced it up and made it the event of the night. Now, before we got going today, you predicted that you knew what my favorite line of the night was going to be.
Yeah.
From last night. I have no idea. What do you think my favorite line was it pertaining to this segment?
Nope.
Okay, what was it then?
CM Punk. He wants Hulk Hogan in the Rumble.
I did like that.
He's gonna throw his dusty ass over the top rope
right.
and end Hulkamania forever.
Yeah. See, John Cena. Yeah, I don't see you winning the Royal Rumble. Yeah.
I can't see you throwing me over the top.
Yeah.
And Sami Zayn, you are not on my level. Shots fired, bro.
Shots fired on Sami Zayn for sure.
I love Sami Zayn in the mix across the board.
But did you notice this? I did not notice.
Oh, he says he can cash in the favor. It could cash in the favor.
Yes, but
I think CM Punk wins the Rumble with the help of Paul Heyman.
I didn't notice this until I was making the thumbnail for this video today. When Kevin Owens is in the ring talking to Sami Zayn, he's holding the microphone. Did you see his hand?
Mm-mm.
He had the X on his hand. Why the fuck would Kevin Owens have the X, the CM Punk straight edge X on his hand during that promo? What?
Foreshadowing.
Dude, layers is what I'm talking about, people. This is good shit.
He might not care. He might have just been like,
or he might, I don't know. I'm just going to do this and watch people freak out on the internet.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that CM Punk promo was awesome. And actually, that's a piece of the puzzle of Saturday night's main event that we have not talked about. Hulk Hogan has been featured prominently in all the promotional material for the Saturday night's main event.
Jesse Ventura has not.
And in light of the disastrous reception that he received
in Los
Angeles, which we could chalk up to any number of reasons.
Sure.
Do they run the risk of putting him in front of that live crowd in San Antonio?
Texas, I think he's better off there versus Los Angeles. Here's the whole, everyone's just like, oh, there's no way. Do you see that Real American Beer in the corner of the ring?
They obviously have a financial relationship.
Dude,
you know?
Have you noticed anything about TKO as a company?
Yeah.
We don't give comps. We make money off of every single thing we can. We raise the price every 12 minutes on everything.
Yeah.
We're making new belts. So, yeah, I mean, like, they got to deal. Like, they're not going to be like, you know what, man, here's the money back.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to renege on the deal.
Yeah. But Hogan did bring up on social media the other day that Andre the Giant, a renowned beer drinker, sit down and drink 36 beers in one sitting.
Yeah.
Hogan did say, brother, Andre would have loved to have been on a beer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so put Andre on the can.
On the Real American Beer. Well, I mean, he's from Grenoble, France.
Take some of the heat. I think I got, and we've talked about the Hogan of it all a little bit on the show. My feeling is that reception that he received. Oh, good. He's gone. I can get a word in edgewise because he loves Hulk Hogan. He loves all his bullshit. He loves all of his.
Hello.
Dare we say?
Hey, I'm recording in the other room. Go ahead and go down.
Bury him that bad, but he's a big Hogan fan. I am not. I think Hogan's jive, and I think the reception that he received, partially due to maybe a liberal crowd in LA, but I think mostly it's just because people in general, not just internet wrestling fans, but people on the internet. And you know who's on the internet? Fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that Hulk Hogan is a fucking piece of shit human being, regardless of who he goes to bat for politically, regardless of what part of the country he's in, red or blue, whatever.
He's got some baggage.
Yeah, he's got a lot of baggage, and everybody fucking knows about it. It's not a like wrestling fan secret that he is a fucking tremendous piece of shit. And obviously They know that. They got into business with him regardless. Now
he was doing pretty good on his Real American Beer tour across the
well,
highways
yeah,
and byways
for
of America.
a very select audience.
Well,
You know,
I mean, but there was literally a 2-hour wait at every single one of those, and they're just like, all right, well, I mean, apparently people don't hate him.
yeah, you know who doesn't hate him? The fucking guy with the Nazi tattoo that he has. There's a picture of floating around out there. That guy is super stoked to meet Hulk Hogan. Those are the people that are lining, and those people are out there. That is not what wrestling crowds are predominantly made up of. Wrestling crowds are made up of fucking families, especially these WWE crowds made up of children and a lot of people like me who probably don't fuck with that side of the political spectrum. So I think you run that risk anytime you bring Hulk Hogan in front of a live wrestling crowd. But here's the other thing.
Film him in the back?
I think film him in the back, but here's the other thing. I know you run that risk. I'm pretty fucking sure Paul Levesque knew that there was a good chance of that happening. I don't think they got caught by surprise, and I don't absolutely discount the possibility of maybe they knew exactly that was going to be the response, and they put him out there on purpose to like maybe sort of give them an out to cut ties with him. Not necessarily the sponsorship deal, but like putting him on TV in front of a live crowd again. Now, apparently he's been booed recently. Recent reports from WWE shows like anytime he's on the video screen.
Well, now it's just the cool thing to do.
Well, now, yes, yeah. and you've made it cool. The internet has made it cool. So like if they really want to continue that relationship, I say use him sparingly and on video packages only, never in front of a live crowd, because anytime you put that guy in a live crowd, you're running the risk of getting that response. However, if that's the response you desire and they want to like, but see, even if you like turn him heel and like turn him into like Hollywood Hogan, do that whole NWO presentation again, it's like people at this point, they want to boo Hogan, but more importantly, they're not booing him because he's a wrestling heel or because anything he's done on that show. They're booing him because, in their opinion, he is a piece of shit and they want him to go away. It is the ultimate form of the go away heat. I don't think people want him in the presentation, on their TV screens, in their arenas. That's the kind of heat he's getting. If you turn him heel and have him, come out in the black and white, what's the point of that? Because still, I think we don't want this guy in our faces at all anymore. Just go away. So I don't know what the benefit of that would be, but that's what they're going to do. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's there's a lot to this whole deal.
Hold on, my handyman is walking.
Your handyman's walking in. That explains the distraction. All right. Yes. Again, ladies and gentlemen.
Try it.
Now, I'm not going to bury Fairplay any further, but I will take this time. If you're enjoying the show, whether you're listening on an audio platform or or on YouTube, however you may be enjoying the program, we welcome engagement, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome any conversation that you want to have. YouTube comments, live stream comments. If you're watching live right now, throw a comment in. If you're listening on any of the audio platforms, leave a review, leave a like, comment on there. Any engagement we can get, ladies and gentlemen, because as we all know, the algorithm that runs all of our lives,
it feeds it,
relies on engagement. So help us out. We're just a little fleggling wrestling podcast out here. This is our 23rd episode this week. And
who's counting?
I am.
Yeah,
I am.
Heath is.
And so help us out with some engagement. We're gonna move on, ladies and gentlemen, because I feel like we're at an hour already.
Yep.
Let's move on because we've been talking about it so much. Let's move on to this. You had some rumors you wanted to address. I don't think we're gonna have time to get to everything. Please,
just real quick,
get in on the rumors you wanted to talk about.
The Corey Graves of it all.
Okay, here's another thing. Did brother shoot himself into a work, or did he work himself into a shoot?
That's what
That's the question.
That's the $1 million question. I think he worked himself into a shoot.
I think he kind of did too, but he kind of shot himself in. Here's the thing. Being a smart wrestling fan, you can look at this and say, "Oh, he's going to set up a program with him and McAfee for WrestleMania or Saturday Night's Main Event or something going down." Because Pat McAfee, regardless of what you think about him on commentary, and I think he's okay on commentary.
I really like him.
I
understand what you and a lot of others do not like.
I like him in small doses.
I don't care. I think what he brings is bigger than what he doesn't bring.
Well, he brings a lot of energy, but are you talking about more like the eyeballs?
He brings energy and eyeballs.
Yeah.
And I will take that over what
Sure.
So.
He happens to be not a bad worker.
No, that was the biggest shock. That match with Adam Cole was a great match.
Yeah, not
in the Shane McMahon, let me pretend to be a wrestler kind of match. It was, like there was something to it.
Not a bad worker, and so instantly I was like, oh, this is going to be like a Pat McAfee and Corey Graves program. Corey Graves, of course, was bound for the main roster and then suffered a series of concussions, I believe it was, or a neck injury.
It's one. I think neck injury.
And NXT cutting his career short. He pivoted and he even referenced that in the now deleted tweet where he, that was his dream. He worked his ass off. That dream got taken away.
He was cleared at the end of the year, though.
But now he's cleared. He switched paths, and I used to be really annoyed with him on commentary, but I think he's sharpened it up. He doesn't do. He's like the evolution of the heel commentator, and he doesn't do shtick so much. Well, he just sort of he has that. His perception is like maybe a little more heelish, but he's got that. He fills the role of the ex-jock, the ex-wrestler, the ex-football player, that classic color commentary role. You want somebody who's been in,
paid their dues, brother.
Yeah, there you go. And he serves that well. However, I think it seemed to become kind of obvious soon after that, if that was your initial thought, that okay, well, they're going to lead to a program. Because McAfee wasn't involved in it. McAfee wasn't going back and forth with him. It was very one-sided. And then he got sent home, and then all the tweets got deleted, and he would have been a shoo-in to fill in for McAfee last night because McAfee was out and Wade Barrett was there. I don't. At this point, I don't know. I would hate for him to have worked himself into a shoot. If he was trying to go into business for himself to try to generate something between him and McAfee.
It's just one of those late night bad decision tweets. Just like Kurt Angle, someone is always stealing Kurt Angle's phone back in the day.
Yeah.
So, if only he could have found who kept stealing his phone.
Yes. So Corey Graves, I don't know. I wish to see him back on our TV, and it's the commitment to the 2-man booth that they seem to have on all their shows leaves an odd man out. I know that he would hate to take a demotion to NXT, but it would make NXT infinitely more viewable.
Well, no, it can be a 2-man booth in NXT.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
get Booker T out of there.
Yeah, and I love as a human being. I think Booker T as a human being is great.
Sure.
And the pre-show, I think he's great. What's wrong with just that gig?
Yeah. The color blow by blow from him is exhausting, and it's why I don't watch NXT every week.
Yeah.
But for everybody they have on their commentary crews to shuffle them all up, there's 7 guys for 6 slots.
Yeah.
And
he's the odd man out.
Yeah, he's the odd man out. Or keep him on either Raw or SmackDown. Wade Barrett. I love Wade Barrett, and I think he's great with Joe Tessitore.
I take Wade over.
I don't.
The chemistry's there.
The chemistry is there. I don't think there would be any less chemistry between Corey and Joe.
Nah, I do. I really. I didn't think I would, because I felt that Corey was better. I still think he's better, but I think that chemistry is better with Wade and Joe.
I think Corey's a pro, and I
Yeah.
think he'll have chemistry with whoever. But we can go back and forth on that all day. But bottom line is McAfee is not your 52 weeks a year guy.
Yeah.
And for Corey Graves to sort of, if this isn't a work, for him to pop off, you kind of screwed up six, because if McAfee's not there, you're the guy 6 months out of the year.
That's not a bad. That's actually a better gig.
That's not a bad gig at all. And and the rest
that's as good as Pat McAfee's gig, and Pat McAfee has a great gig.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, but I'll just say this: I do hope to see Corey Graves back on some WWE programming in the future.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Well, he's kind of got. If you look back, he's kind of got screwed along the way in that it's just like, hey, you're the play-by-play guy. Oh no, now you're the color guy. Now you're a hybrid. Now you're the Professor Mike Tenay role. Like, they've literally pushed this guy in every role, and he's accepted the challenge every time.
He's done great at it,
and been like, all right,
yeah,
I'm here for you. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And I think he just hit his limit.
Maybe so. What else on the rumor mill? If you will?
Allegedly, someone from TNA will be a part of the Rumble. I think we're looking at two. Potentially Jordan Grace, obviously.
And the women's Rumble for sure.
Yeah, and then I think I think the reason Joe Hendry won the TNA championship is because he's going to be. They want to bring him out there with the championship.
Well, of course we have the newly announced partnership formalized between WWE, NXT specifically, and TNA. Jordan Grace is done at TNA from what I hear.
Yeah,
and
she got her goodbye belt,
and she's gonna be coming over. So she's a shoe-in for a Rumble appearance. Hell, she was in the Rumble last year, made a big splash.
I was there.
Joe Hendry obviously makes an impact wherever he appears. However, I don't think it would be a great use of your Impact World Champion to come into the Royal Rumble to obviously not win the Royal Rumble. And so, there's that.
Well, he upon winning the championship, he was on Busted Open, and they're just like, hey, is there anyone? He's just like, yeah, one guy, John Cena. That's the guy I want. So I think he's in the Rumble to cross paths with John Cena.
Yeah, that could be a good story.
Create that match.
I do think was it Josh Alexander? I think he's done in TNA as well. So I think we'll be seeing him. I think he can lose the headgear though.
Yeah, I don't like the headgear.
Don't like the headgear. Yeah. Me either. What else you got on the rumor roundup?
That's it. Let's talk Coliseum Classic of the Week.
Coliseum Classic, ladies and gentlemen, Saturday night's main event emanating from Toledo, Ohio in October of 1990. It's the
not Germany.
The Oktoberfest edition of Saturday night's main event. And this was streaming live this weekend on the WWE Vault channel on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to that, in addition to subscribing to this channel, subscribe to that WWE Vault channel. They are putting out classic material all the time, every week, almost daily. And I shared this with you. They were streaming this on Saturday. I sent it over to you, and I clicked on to it. And of course, my favorite wrestler of all time is the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Just so happens when I clicked onto the episode, Dusty Rhodes was making his entrance for his in-ring battle against the Macho Man Randy Savage, Macho King, I believe at this point.
He was just
on the cusp.
So he has Sensational Sherry, who is not Queen Sherry yet.
Okay.
And he's
wearing the full gear.
He had just started the full gear with that. He doesn't have the crown yet.
Yeah.
And in the closing credits, Roddy Piper refers to him as King Macho.
Oh, okay.
Randy Savage.
So we're going to talk about this match for a little bit. Going back to like stories of wrestling fandom, young wrestling fandom, Dusty Rhodes moved to the WWF in 1988, 89, was kind of sealed the deal for me. I had sort of been losing interest for a while. And then when I saw my favorite guy go over to WWE, WWF, and be
the common man.
and be positioned and the way they positioned him with the polka dots and the toilet cleaning vignettes and all that shit.
He was the fat Texas Tornado.
I was like, this fucking sucks, and I'm done. I can't.
Around that same time, like they took Kerry Von Erich, who was great,
Right.
the god of world-class championship wrestling. It's like, here's your mid-level intercontinental at very best guy, Texas cartoon Texas Tornado, and then Crockett. NWA, they grab the guy, the god of NWA, and it's just like, and here is your mid-card at best, in a polka dot Dusty Rhodes cartoon.
It sucked. But as we see him entering the ring for this bout, he is sort of, he's gotten it over. He's not with Sapphire anymore. Sapphire has been taken away.
She's been purchased.
Which the announce team explains that she's been removed by the $1 Million Man. He comes out. The polka dots are now red.
Yes, that helps.
Which is a more serious presentation. And he is wearing, if you know anything about Dusty Rhodes, he's wearing the Dusty Rhodes ass kicking hat.
It's the Bunkhouse Stampede hat.
It's the hat where if Dusty Rhodes is wearing that hat, watch the fuck out, because he means business. He's had as much as he's going to take. It's kind of the top hat with the chicken foot hat band.
Yeah.
He's wearing that hat. And have 8 of them. So I see this instantly. I know that this man means business, and this is going to be a match to watch. And then you see his son Dustin Rhodes at ringside
in a nice purple button-up shirt,
a nice purple Western shirt, and well, why don't you go ahead? Help us out here.
Well, so here's the whole thing with the dust on the front row. They were in debate at that time. This is based on knowledge learned from Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard. They were in debate on bringing in Dustin to be the opponent for Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania the coming year.
Okay.
And they pivoted to Tugboat becoming Typhoon.
All right.
That was so
okay.
That was in the works. So it's a straight up match between Dusty Rhodes and the Macho King. But during the match, we have Ted DiBiase buys the entire front row because everybody has a price.
Classic
for the $1 Million Man. $1 Million Man pillow pal over there. Wrestling
there buddy. There was actually somebody in the crowd with that very same wrestling buddy.
That was going to be my luxury item on Survivor, is why I have that. And I got permission from WWE. I got permission from Tonka, and Ted DiBiase, who owns his name, would not give me permission.
Wow.
Idiot.
But there it is.
There it is right there. So, and my backup item was the mullet wig that Jeff Probst is wearing over there on the other side. So that's the one I got. All right. But anyway, we have Virgil and the $1 Million Man sitting on each side of Dustin Rhodes, and as Dustin begins to cheer for his dad, we see more shenanigans with Virgil and DiBiase, to the point that they attack him. Dusty goes out to help. Macho sees this. We got the double axe handle from the top to the floor. Count out victory, and then Macho scoots. DiBiase and Virgil continue the beat down on Dustin, and Dusty covers his son and says, "Please, no more. Just take it out on me, not my son, not the fruit of my loins."
The classic Dusty Rhodes spot in the beatdown is the sacrifice.
I love it,
where he covers the target, and could not be any better target than Dustin Rhodes for Dusty to cover in this scenario. You mentioned Ted DiBiase's right-hand man, Virgil. Do you know where that name came from?
Yeah, Dusty Rhodes' real name, Virgil Riley Runnels Jr.
Just trying to just testing your knowledge there. So immediately following this match, there's a promo segment featuring Tugboat and Hulk Hogan, who
was so hurt. Hulk Hogan got beat up in the match But don't worry, he can still cut a promo and be like, "Oh, that's nothing, brother." Literally says, "That's nothing, brother. I'm good."
So this comes on my TV screen after like just enjoying, the match with Randy Savage and Dusty Rhodes. This comes on my TV, and again, I'm sitting there watching with my dad. This was Saturday afternoon when this was live cast, and as I'm sitting there watching with my dad, I'm looking at Tugboat and Hulk Hogan on the screen, and I was like, you know what? I think this is stupid and corny fucking bullshit now. I thought it was stupid and corny fucking bullshit in the 80s when I was a kid, and I was like, this is everything I hate about WWF, and I fucking turned it off. And how far we have come. How far we have come, ladies and gentlemen, when in a day and age when there are multiple avenues for pursuing your wrestling fandom, and when what WWF has become, World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, when they're doing it as good as they're doing it now, it blows my mind. It's wild. Go ahead.
Well, there are some magical moments on the Saturday Night's Main Event, and the link is in the bio, by the way.
Fantastic.
So it's the Oktoberfest edition. They're in Toledo, Germany, I guess. I'm guessing because there's footage that appears to be from Germany. I'm guessing it's from Busch Gardens, Tampa.
No, I'm guessing it's probably from
Germany, a German tour.
No, I think it's probably from, because Oktoberfest, yes, it has. It's a celebration that has German origins, but there are many German American communities that celebrate Oktoberfest all around the United States. So I imagine they were probably at a local Ohio, chapter of the German American club, and they probably have a deal with the Lederhosen and the giant beers and all that. So I'm sure they.
I think it was Busch Gardens, because
I don't think it was fucking Busch Gardens.
I think it was.
Busch Gardens Tampa is not the old country. Busch Gardens Williamsburg is the old country. Busch Gardens Tampa was like a whole different gimmick for a whole different theme for their.
Oh, they did the wild.
It was like Wild
Africa.
Kingdom or something. Yeah.
I think it was Africa, Tampa, and okay. Well, it appeared to be very Busch Gardens-esque, and so they do these little cutaways. So one of them is they're in the Bavarian Beer Garden eating, and then they go away. They cut to throughout the entire episode. They cut to Lord Alfred Hayes, who
I do love Lord Al,
who is sampling the German beer, and he's like, this is horrible. Let me try one of those. And every time Mean Gene cuts to him, no response. So then later, the Bushwhackers are at the cheese making facility, and they're cutting the cheese.
God damn.
So and their favorite was the Fromunda.
Jesus Christ.
So fast forward. Oh no.
8 years old.
No,
Vince McMahon, the mentality of an 8-year-old.
Oh no. The highlight was the sausage stuffing contest. And the greatest sausage stuffer on the planet, according to Mean Gene, was the genius Lanny Poffo, who loves stuffing his sausage
specifically into his own mouth.
It's a rumor and innuendo. And so there was that, and then with a big food fight. And then finally, after many attempts to contact Lord Alfred Hayes, he shows up. He's plastered, and Mean Gene throws a cake in his face.
Wow.
Yeah, it was rough.
PP and poo poo.
Yeah,
so fucking amazing.
But the genius skipping around with the big smile and curls.
Yeah,
and it's a look.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you think all that fucking shit is fucking shit, like I do. You might want to join me on my journey that I've decided to partake in the year 2025. We're always sending stuff back and forth to each other on our text thread. Little wrestling snippets, wrestling history, current events, whatever. You sent me a promo the other day from January 1985. Terry Funk making an appearance for Jim Crockett Promotions. And I thought to myself, I was like, I don't remember that particularly being a thing. Now, admittedly, I didn't start watching Crockett until about midway through, or actually maybe it was a little later in 1985, and this was from January of '85.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, of course, like we have, available to us at the touch of a button, all of that stuff, via YouTube or Peacock. So I was like, you know what, seeing as how we're just started January of 2025, I think I'm going to do a week by week rewatch. And I watched a few hours to catch up to, where we are. And I invite you, wrestling fans, and I invite you as well, Fairplay, if you have the time. I'm going to be rewatching Jim Crockett Promotions from 1985. It was their 50th anniversary. It's 40 years past now, so this would be the 90th anniversary of Jim Crockett Promotions. So I'm going to be watching specifically Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling as it is presented on Peacock, which video quality and audio is immaculate. It's great.
But they changed out the music, right?
The downside is commercial breaks are very frequent. They change out anytime there is copyrighted music. Yeah. They insert their own sort of jive WWE library music. And the other thing you miss out on from the Mid-Atlantic Wrestling presentation on Peacock is no local promos.
Yeah, and that was the key.
And it's kind of the key.
Yeah.
The promos are kind of the promos and the angles. There's very rarely what you call a main event, caliber match.
And if it was, we'd never got the resolution.
You would never get.
We're out of time.
Yeah. But the promos and angles are what to watch. But so I went on YouTube and I found, and we'll post this next week, as a matter of fact. There was Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, and then there was Worldwide Wrestling, was the other Jim Crockett syndicated show. And you can find those on YouTube, full episodes. The downside is audio quality, not great. Video quality, a lot of times not great. But they're coming from VHS that somebody recorded off their TV.
Sure.
So you get all of the copywritten music. You get all of the local promos.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. Specifically at this juncture.
Where is the person that uploaded? Where were they emanating from? Where
this area, because the local promos are for Greensboro and Roanoke. The big shows they talk about are Greensboro and Roanoke.
That's wonderful.
And so I'm thinking it's probably
Channel 13
or probably WSLS. I think was the Roanoke NBC channel, or because XII was the North Carolina NBC channel. But anyway, we'll post.
WSET Lynchburg
was ABC.
They were ABC. They were the Friday nights. They would run a 15-minute news channel. Friday nights was 15-minute news because wrestling couldn't wait.
Oh, is that right?
The news on WSET on Monday through Thursday was 30 minutes long. On Friday nights, it was 15 minutes long, so we could get to wrestling.
What was their show that they showed on Friday nights?
I can't remember if it was Worldwide or the other one.
Because I would watch Mid-Atlantic on XII, which was the North Carolina NBC affiliate, and that would come on at noon. On Saturdays. And then
Worldwide.
And then Worldwide, I would watch from, I can't remember the call letters, but it was the UHF channel 45 or 48.
Fox 48.
Out of it's what became Fox 48. Out of Greensboro, and I would watch that
WGHP?
No, that was the ABC affiliate from High Point.
Okay.
I was just in their TV studios back this summer. But no, it's so I think it's WSLS, but I haven't seen on any of the episodes. I haven't seen the callers come up. But this could be
they'll be there.
They'll be there.
Yeah.
Right now, Wahoo McDaniel, Ric Flair are doing a thing. Babyface Ric Flair on the January 19th episode.
Is Piper still there at this point?
No, he's gone. On January 19th episode on Mid-Atlantic, as it's on Peacock, if you watch that, Ric Flair cuts his promo, a locker room promo, being interviewed by David Crockett, and it is the babyface Ric Flair promo of a lifetime. It's incredible. Manny Fernandez and Dusty Rhodes are the World Tag Team Champions. And there were a couple of episodes. There was one episode of Mid-Atlantic where Manny Fernandez is in every promo segment, every babyface promo segment they run. It's Ricky Steamboat and Manny Fernandez. It's Dick Slater and Manny Fernandez. It's like wrestler whoever and Manny Fernandez. It's so like so. It's a lot of Manny Fernandez.
And he says the same thing,
He
brother.
says the same thing kind of every time. The Russians are
San
there.
Antonio.
The Russians are there, but the Road Warriors aren't there yet. The Midnight Express is not there yet. The Rock and Roll Express is not there yet. So like everything. So it's
Steamboat.
Steamboat's on his way out.
Okay.
And he is not good on the promos, but you
Yeah.
get to see. But Steamboat is helping Don Kernodle out in his campaign against the Russians. Nikita's there. And so I think one of the last things you get to see before Ricky Steamboat leaves the territory is you get to see him and Nikita Koloff square off a couple times. And they just kind of set that up with an angle on the January 19th episode of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. So just find that on Peacock, and in the coming weeks, we'll share the link for the Worldwide Wrestling 1985 playlist that I found on YouTube. It's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe Fairplay will join us, but I'm going to be watching it every week to just kind of have something to talk about. We did not have a shortage of things to talk about this week, ladies and gentlemen. One of our longest episodes ever at almost an hour and a half. It's time to go. But before we do, Jonny Fairplay, tell these people where to find you on social media and what it is you have going on.
Sure. At Jonny Fairplay on pretty much everything. No H in Johnny, Jonny, Fairplay. Go to JonnyFairplay.com for links to everything. I got like 700 records for sale. Buy a record. With every record, you get an autographed Jonny Fairplay 4x6. However, if you just put in the messages, hey, I'm a wrestling fan, I'll throw in a Wrestling After Show sticker.
There it is.
No problem.
There it is. Find him on eBay. Find me wherever, Facebook, Instagram. I never post anything. I could give a fuck, but you can come find me anyway and just lurk and check it out from afar. But don't stay afar from the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Get in on that comment section. Engage with us here on Wrestling After Show because we're trying to build up that engagement, build that relationship, build this fan base here on Wrestling After Show, because nobody does it the way that Jonny Fairplay and Heath Haynes do it, breaking down wrestling every week right here on Wrestling After Show. For Jonny Fairplay, I'm Heath Haynes, and we'll see you at the matches.
Check out that championship courtesy of Cameron Church. You rock, brother.
Boom.